Welcome to Bowie State University's SAS Connection, Science, Arts, and Society. Well, we have a distinguished guest, a very unique, hard-working person that's right here in our community. Her name is Deborah Scott Thomas. She is the CEO and founder of Data Solutions Technologies, Inc., and it's here once again in our city. But let me tell you a little bit about her background before we asked her the first question. She graduated from a historically black university, Alabama State University, retired colonel from the United States Air Force after serving her country for more than 3 decades. She has a master's from Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. She's worked for Fortune 100 companies as well as small businesses, and she is a mother of 3. She is a devoted wife, and her husband is the entrepreneur. His name is Otis Thomas. He's the president and CEO of Operations and Technologies Incorporated. What a giant background. Wow, is the word that comes to mind. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you here on our special program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas.
The first question, tell us, how did you start your corporation with such a tough background of being 30-some years in the service and a mother and finding the time to start a successful business?
When you ask a question of when did I start my company and how did I start it, well, I started in 1994, but I have to take you back to my roots. I am from Montgomery, Alabama, and of course the focus of Alabama for me was something called a field. I was a farmer. My family they were farmers. My mother, however, always told us that we had to get an education, and an HBCU would be the place that we would be going to. And Alabama State, being there in Montgomery, Alabama, of course, was the focus. So Alabama State planted very early on as a child. But going back to my childhood, I always dreamed of being an entrepreneur, owning my own company. My father, who had a great influence over me, unfortunately, is one of the angels in heaven looking down upon me at this time. He passed at my age of 8. However, he always told me that, Deborah, you will go places. Of the 7 children, he would take me every place with him, and he would always talk about owning your own business. You know, I was from the segregated South and didn't understand segregated South because my parents really protected me from the standpoint of being in that farm, as well as the relatives. It took a community to raise this child, as well as to think of being an entrepreneur, because that's what we were as farmers. We were traders, we were barterers. In growing up and attending Alabama State, I was able to realize that dream even more so, or get prepared for it, because I was introduced to the ROTC program. In joining the Air Force ROTC, Det 019 at Alabama State, I wanted to travel the world, gain leadership skills, and learn what it was about to really manage people and work with people. There I got the foundation of what I really needed. From there, and coming to this area, Washington, D.C., it was a natural given. Small businesses were cropping up everywhere. I did not need $1 million that I thought I needed. Instead, I just needed the skills that I had learned and garnered over the years. And the vision was to become an outstanding organization, an excellent consulting firm, a change agent, making a difference for others. And when I say that, giving back, being able to give back to those who had helped me to accomplish what I needed to accomplish.
Deborah, we were talking about your involvement and enthusiasm and the importance of your relationship with HBCUs around the country, historically black colleges and universities. Tell us about that.
Well, I have been, as I've told you, my foundation came from a HBCU. And in traveling, I am forever listening for participation of HBCUs in the programs from a government perspective and other industries. last year I was at a conference and there was a review on outstanding colleges and universities. Something that stood out was there was no mention of the outstanding colleges and universities of Alabama. And as you can tell, I have a great passion for the HBCU in Alabama and HBCUs in general. And just listening for the names of Alabama State University, Tuskegee University, Alabama A&M, Drake College, just listening for those types of colleges and universities. Where are they? Why aren't they being mentioned or anything else like that? Because I take firm belief that the reason why I am where I am today is because of Alabama State University and civil rights. So based upon that, it was a matter of, oh no, we must do something about this. And people have to know that the colleges and universities of Alabama really stand very, very tall. So in thinking about it and in talking with government officials as well as the school officials, Dr. Harris and Dr. John Knight from Alabama State University came up with the idea of having a national conference, inviting all HBCUs, industry, and government, so therefore we could talk about entrepreneurship in the New South. And oh, by the way, let's globalize that, because globalization is it. So the theme became globalization of the New South. In having that conference, we truly had the trilogy from the perspective of higher education, industry, and government there. That's how I became really connected with Bowie State University and Dr. George Acquaah, your Dean of College of Arts and Sciences, who is very renowned, as you very well know, when it comes to the STEM initiatives.
So with that said, let's talk about science, technology, engineering, and math, which is a major focus in the educational and academic society globally. Your reaction to that area of science, how does your company play a part of it?
When it comes to, my company plays a part of every aspect of STEM. The core capabilities that we've been able to really build within data solutions and technology are management support services, information technology, science and technical services, aviation management, and logistics. From a STEM perspective, we depend upon colleges and universities to prepare the students, so therefore we can provide customer satisfaction and meet the needs of our customers that we currently are working with.
Deborah, watching us right now are minorities from around the globe, and they admire your tenacity, your resilience, your focus, your success based on hard work. What advice would you have for other minority women who are watching us, who are interested in being able to reach that level, which is very difficult today?
To think big. And when I say that, think of, dream of, envision, where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? The thing about America is there is nothing that you can't do in America if you have the desire for it and the will. If you are determined and you determine yourself that you want to own a company, you can do it. Because I can tell you, if you can conceive it and believe it, you will achieve it. But it does take a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work.
For example?
When it comes down to myself, for example, there are 24 hours in a day. You definitely need to look at that time clock and decide and determine how much time you're going to have to dedicate to that job. And I can tell you now, for me, I did not have any relationships in the Washington, D.C. area. Data Solutions and Technology was truly built by a person and a half. The person being me, the half being my husband, because he had to continue to work to pay the bills. But Because of my background and the experience that I had garnered over the years, I came up with the idea that I wanted to own a management consulting organization. And I knew that I wanted to own one of the best consulting organizations in America. Also, I wanted to bring about change for people. I wanted to effect change. And I wanted to be able to give back during the process of doing that. And so saying that, it was a matter of going out and deciding to start Data Solutions and Technology. In 1994, when I started Data Solutions and Technology, I had always worked for companies. I had never owned companies, and I thought I had to have $1 million. I learned that with my skills, if I applied them, my skills, as I said, going to college, going to the Air Force, working for other businesses, learning all that I possibly could learn, one should never pass up the opportunity of learning. So, always giving it your best. That is the foundation that has always been placed before me. No matter what you are doing, no matter how you are doing it, give it your best, give it your all. And in starting a company, 24 hours became 18 hours of work almost for me. We used to tease about it. When I say we, I'm talking about Otis Thomas, and it's ironic. Your name is Otis Thomas, but my husband's name is Otis Thomas as well. We used to take naps. I would get up, he would go to bed for a few minutes whenever we were working on proposals, and then I would go back to the drawing board, and it was a back and forth situation. During the course of the day, I would beat on doors all day. When I say beat on doors, going to various federal agencies as well as other industries, other corporations, selling my wares. And when I say selling my wares, talking about my logistics program, talking about my management support program, talking about my aviation program. And that's how we came about. And one step at a time. The Department of Energy is truly my champion. That was the first government contract that I landed.